Yo, what's going on, guys? And today I wanted to talk about the two moves that the Golden State Warriors have made. They've signed Langston Galloway and Avery Bradley. These are two guards. Bradley can play a little bit of point guard, but I wouldn't really primarily play him at point guard. He's more of an undersized two. But let's just talk about these moves. I want to hear your thoughts down below right now. What do you guys think of them? Yes, I know Galloway's on a training camp deal, while it seems like Avery Bradley signed a probably non-guaranteed deal. But this was a move that they needed to do. Okay, I think it's beneficial for their team because they needed, I think, more guard play. You could argue that guard play was one of the team's biggest weakness, besides maybe center play. The whole center play depends on how far James Wiseman has progressed. And let me pull up the salary cap table right here on my laptop. And when we look at this roster, we can talk about, Klay Thompson, Moses Moody, Jordan Poole, Damian Lee. You got Juan Toscano Anderson, Andrew Wiggins, Gary Payton II, Stephen Curry, Michael Mulder, Otto Porter Jr., Andre Iguodala, Jonathan Kuminga, Draymond Green, Kevon Looney, Nemja, I already said Michael Mulder, and James Wiseman. Okay, and they have Chris Chiozza on a two-way. So when you look at this, really, Michael Mulder, who's more, again, a undersized two guard, he's more of just a three-point shooter. Gary Payton is an undersized two. He's a guy who's a defensive stud. I think Gary Payton and Avery Bradley will be competing in training camp for similar roles, okay? That they're both guys who are defense and passing first, then shooting. Bradley might be the better shooter out of the two, even though Bradley isn't a great shooter to begin with. He's had some good seasons in the past, but he's still never been an elite shooter. And then you look at the rest, Jordan Poole or Damian Lee could run some point, but I wouldn't really run them at point. So it looks behind Stephen Curry, they don't really have an actual point guard besides, Michael Mulder and the man I was just talking about, Gary Payton II. And Chris Chiozza, who's on a two-way. So I look right here and I'm thinking, Langston Galloway is another guy who's more of a two guard with point guard like skills. Okay, Langston Galloway is a guy. Yes, he's shown the ability to be a scorer and stuff. And we've seen when he was on the Knicks, and he isn't bad. Avery Bradley and Langston Galloway will be competing with Michael Mulder and Gary Payton II for a roster spot. This team's already at 16 players. Now adding these two, they're at 18. So I expect, three guys to get cut and two of those guys to be put on two-way contracts, because I believe it's three guys now that can be on two-way contracts. So last year for the Suns, Langston Galloway shot 42%. He's a career 37% three-point shooter, and his best season was in 2019 when he averaged 10 points a game, and 2014 when he averaged 11.8. So look, he's a good three-point shooter, but he's never been a guy, except in his rookie year where he averaged 1.2 steals a game. He's never been an elite defensive player. While Avery Bradley over here, he only played 27 games in the past year. And in those 27 games, he did shoot in the 10 games 42% from three for the Heat, but he took a limited amount. And then the 17 for the Rockets, he shot 27%. And he's a career 36% three-point shooter, but he's not been consistent, okay? So again, I think Avery Bradley will compete with Gary Payton for that defensive guard role, while Langston Galloway will compete with Michael Mulder for that three-point shooting role. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What do you guys think of, the Golden State Warriors and these moves that they've made, okay? Do you think this is something that they needed to do? I think the Warriors are going to be a playoff team, definitely, without a doubt. So yeah, I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. Do you think you like these moves, and what do you think they mean? Do you think who's not going to make the roster and who will make the roster in your opinion? I think everyone's going to make the roster except for I don't think Avery Bradley will make the roster. I think they'd rather keep it Gary Payton II. And I don't know, Langston Galloway, Michael Mulder's a toss-up. And then I guess you could argue maybe they throw Michael Mulder or Gary Payton on a two-way, so they bring the roster to 15. But yeah, that's my assumptions. I I don't really know what they would do, you know? But hey, I think it was a good pickup. Okay. I enjoyed it. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What do you guys think of the signings and if they were good signings at all? Okay. Because obviously you could not be a fan of the signings. I mean, it's all for interpretation, you know? Like, this is just my opinion. And I thought they were good. I thought they were good. So let me hear that.